less than 4 minions spawn a captain. Nope, there's more than 4. No threat penalty, and the only thing left are minions that we need to activate. Before we activate the minions, I want to talk a little bit about the way that I move the enemies around the board during my playthroughs of Myth. So for a quick example, the way I do it, which I have been doing most of the time, with the exception of a few mistakes that I've made with my own method. If we look at the tailless card, we can see that on the priority side, they start with least threat, proximity, and then least vitality. The way that I do movement, or have been doing movement so far, which is not indicative of the rule set specifically, is I look at their top priority, and in this case it's least threat, and then I look at the individuals and I say, okay, which of these characters has the least amount of threat? And in this case, at this time, it would be the soldier, which is way up here on the top right of the tile right now. And then I think to myself, can the enemies move with the movement points they have, and in this case 4, and get into range to attack the enemy that is the top of their priority list? And for example, this one here can move and get within range easily with no problem. That's not exactly how the rules work. The priorities are there to break down whenever there's ties. Myth is a kind of sandbox, quote-unquote sandbox game, where yes, there is a rule set to help lay things out, but the intent of the creators, which I believe the intent of the creators was for you to mold the game and make it your own and use their rules, but no problem with using home rules or tweaking rules a little bit as long as you're consistent in what you're doing. And it doesn't give you some kind of distinct advantage where it makes the game and breaks it and makes it too easy for you to make it through everything. What I'm going to do now, and for the rest of this tile, and I'll do it on the next tile also, is I'll do as close as I can movement for the enemies according to the rule book. Again, I'm not perfect with this. It is intentionally vague, I believe, so you're supposed to get a little bit of interpretation in there. I went onto Board Game Geek and looked at the different forums, and there are tons and tons of people discussing, including other game developers for this game, what the intent of the rules are as far as movement. So everybody has a lot of opinions, but whenever I do playthroughs for my channel or just my own playthroughs in my own time for fun, I like to enjoy the experience, and I don't really worry if I'm making little mistakes here and there. Again, I don't want to make big game-breaking mistakes, but little tweaks here and there, or things that aren't necessarily 100% accurate in most games, is not a big deal for me. I enjoy the game and the story of the game, the story that develops within the game. So please leave your input. Let me know how you do movement when you play Myth, or if you don't play Myth and you're just watching this playthrough, let me know which movement type you like. The more individualized, kind of chaotic movement that I like, to have things spread all over the battlefield, or what I'm about to do now for the rest of this tile and in the next tile, which is doing the group minion with a scout assigned type of movement that's laid out in the rulebook. The way that the group movement works, as laid out in the rulebook, is you're looking for a group of minions of the same monster type adjacent to one another. Well, there's plenty of the same type adjacent there and there. We've basically got 2 decent sized groups. Then when moving a group, the players choose the minion orthogonally closest to a hero. So I'm looking here. These 2 are both 5 away from the acolyte, but this one here is also 5 away orthogonally from the soldier. Now, which one do I use? Do I say that he is the scout heading towards the acolyte, or do I say this one is the scout heading towards the soldier? But in this case, this one here is also 5 away and 5 away, so there's a tie there. And when there's a tie like that, that is when the priority should come into play according to the rule book. And in this case, it's the least threat, which is first on the tailless card. And between the acolyte and the soldier, the acolyte has 1 threat, the soldier has 0. They are going to move towards and attack the soldier. That would make him the scout, this one on the top right here, and he's going to take anybody that's adjacent to him with him. So these two are also adjacent to him, so they will move with him. First, you move the scout. Again, he can move 4 according to his card, and he only has to be within 2 because of the spears that they carry. Now, I could stop right there, but they are intelligent creatures with intellect, so they're going to make room for their companions to come in. So he had one more move left, so I'm going to move 4 to there, still within 2, so he can attack, but he leaves this open space for the rest of his group that's going to move up there. And now both of these tailless are designated as moving towards that soldier because they are part of the group that was attached to the scout. So we'll go ahead and move them. 4. Actually, instead of going there, I'm going to go 3 and 4 right there, still within 2, and it's going to leave room for other enemies to come up. Next, we're going to look here at this tailless, who is 5 away from our soldier and definitely more than 5 away from the acolyte. So he is going to move towards the soldier and bring this one minion that's part of his group now that he's a scout with it. And now all of those minions are within range and position to now attack the soldier. Now, if I would have used my method by prioritizing and saying that these were going to go for the least threat, which was a soldier anyway, and they were all within range to reach the soldier with their movement and be able to attack, they all would have ended up there anyway with the method that I normally use. This is not always the case, but in this case it would have played out basically the same. Next, we're going to move our tailless here, our ranged ones, and they have to be within 3. And here's where things will differ from my method compared to what is in the rule book. This is not a commentary on which is better or which is the correct way. I mean, if you want to say the correct way, you'd probably want to go as close as you can to the rule book. That way it's the way that the game was most likely intended to be played. But we'll look at this figure here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away orthogonally, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one would move here, closest to the acolyte. But when you got a group like this, probably smarter to choose the one in the middle. And I could have done that here with these guys also because they were in that U shape. I could have chosen the one in the middle and it would have played out basically the same also. But say we choose the one in the middle here, 8 to get there. Only 7 to get to the acolyte. So they are going to go towards the acolyte. Now, instead of choosing the one in the middle, we could make it a little more dynamic and give them a little bit more personality and go with the way it says in the rulebook and choose one that is closest orthogonally to one of the characters. In this case, it would be the one on the end here, so we'll go with that. So he is going to come over here to attack the acolyte. He can move 4, but he only has to get within 3. There. Now he's within 3, he can still attack. And what I mean by giving him a little more personality, so he's on the end here. Even though with my method he would have went for the soldier who has the least amount of threat, this guy said, hey, I got opportunity over here. He nudges his buddy next to him like, hey, follow me, which is what he's going to do. Leaving this guy all by himself wondering why they ran over there when the less scary enemy is up here in the form of the soldier. Let's see how he lays out. 8 also, and we know the tiebreaker is starting with least threat, so we will move up to the soldier to get within a range of 3, which I don't think he's able to do. That's as close as he can get, and that's what he would do. He would move as close as possible to the target. And this is how it'll play out if I'm using the scout rules like I see and the way that I understand them from the instructions. I'm not going to belabor the point over and over again in the rest of this tile and in the next tile also. I'm just going to do the movement fairly quickly. I mean, I'll talk through it and give my reasoning, but I'm not going to slow the gameplay down as much as I have for this segment here when I'm explaining my theory behind things. We will go ahead and do the attack for the 5 melee, and then we'll do the 1 ranged attacker on the soldier, and then we'll do the 2 ranged attackers on the acolyte. First, we have to pass our courage test. We have our 5 melee attackers attacking the soldier, and they have that courage of 9. And we have 1 success there. Let's go ahead and roll that attack first. Remember, they have a special, since there's 4 or more tailless attacking this particular character, the target number drops by 2, so they're only going to need a 5 instead of a 7. And that is successful, which would normally inflict 1 damage, but the soldier has plenty of open spots available under her player board, and she has an interrupt in her hand, which I will play. I'll take that, and she'll parry it and ignore 1 enemy attack targeting her. So she'll knock that spear away with her pot lid. As she glances over that line of enemies, she sees one of the ranged ones lining up a shot. Let's see if it has the courage to shoot at her. It does. Feeling a little emboldened, he gets a shot off with the slingshot and scores a hit also. Again, only needed a 5. Our tailless got off a successful shot, hitting the soldier, taking her down to 8 health. Now we'll carry out the 2 attacks by these ranged tailless shooting at the acolyte. These 2 buddies test their courage and are not successful. Right before the darkness phase ends, I will have the apprentice use one of her interrupts and play Rift Walk, and then choose 1 square up to 3 away. And this is not a move. I'm going to move her right here onto that treasure so we can start picking things up. Move this back into the hero cycle. First thing I want to do is start picking up these treasures. I will have the apprentice, since she's already on one of them, to go ahead and pick the one up using one of her movement points. Now I'll give her a chance to draw from the bag. Let's mix it up, and oh, just got a regular bronze one, which means she will choose from the white deck, the most common. So we shuffle it, we'll cut it, and we'll get 1 gold. Then I will have her move 1 more onto this next treasure chest here, and she has an additional movement point thanks to the Ring of Neria, so she'll use her last movement point to pick up another treasure. Draw from the bag again, and gain another bronze. She's not really lucking out too much there. We'll give it a quick shuffle, we'll cut it, and we will get 1 more gold. I'm going to have the soldier attack here, but before we do that, I'm going to have the acolyte play Feet of the Saints. That'll give us a faith. It'll also make each hero on the tile reduce the AP cost of attack actions by 1, which is going to be useful here in just a moment. We will also play Blessings of the Dawn, another faith. Then each hero on the tile gains a fate die for attack actions equal to his faith. Now the soldier will move forward 1. I'm going to have her go right there, which will put her at cautious movement, which is exactly what I want because I'm going to want an additional fate die. And then she is going to play Harvest of Bones, which instead of adding 2 action points, thanks to our Feet of the Saints, will only be 1, making our darkness meter 1. Also, I will want an additional target, so I will play one of my cards face down so I can add a rage. The soldier will do her 90-degree arc, and then the rage will allow 1 additional target. We start with our base. Thanks to the Blessings of the Dawn, we will get 3 additional fate die, thanks to all the faith that our acolyte has. Actually, it'll be 4 additional. I forgot the solace again. Her Horrifying Spear will give her 3 and 3. The Boots of Speed. And the Cautious Movement with the Harvest of Bones gives us another fate die. All of our enemies are the same type, so we're only going to need a 4 on one of our 10-sided. And we barely got it. Those all missed, but we did get a 5. I made half of my recipe for my Horrifying Spear. I need a guile symbol, so I'm going to use my Mantle of Fate to change one of mine to make my recipe. Then I can attack another target within 4 squares. Also, I just want to note real quick that the Horrifying Spear allows you to attack a target adjacent to the initial target. In this case, the arc would have started here, so there are no enemies adjacent that wouldn't be affected already. I didn't need that aspect of the horrifying spear. That's why I wanted to make sure I made my fate die recipe so I could arc all the way around, hit this extra one with the rage, and then take another one out here on the end and wipe out 5 in one shot. The soldier just wades in with that spear. A horrific attack that just rips through the entire line of melee attackers. There are no treasures available to drop, so that is all that's going to happen right now. Except our threat is going to go way up to 5. I will stop there and move into the hero deck phase. We'll reduce threat, and then discard. Reduce by 2, back down to 0. And then reduce by 3, back down to 1. I chose to keep no cards for the apprentice. I'm keeping the sprint card for the acolyte so we can pick up treasure, and I kept the easy way for the soldier because we still have to move that boulder into the hole. The acolyte ended up with the mountain crumbles, aura of the elements, blood of Gaia, reservoir of the ancients, and attack. The acolyte kept sprint and picked up sprint, hand of the father, intercession, and last rites. The soldier kept the easy way and picked up sprint, attack, impenetrable, and battle roar. Since the threat from the tailless is minimal now, I will have the soldier get to work on this boulder. I will have her move 1 so she's adjacent to it. And in order to move this, she's going to need a target number of 8 twice. So this isn't going to be that easy. What we're hoping for is some help. So I'll have her play the easy way, which will be her action. But now she can search her draw pile, which is very small right now, for a card of her choice and add it to her hand. But the important thing is she gains +2 D10 to non-combat actions, which is what we're going to need help with here. Her draw pile only had 3 cards in it, Harvest of Bones, Battle Rage, and Impenetrable. I'll go ahead and hold on to the Interrupt Impenetrable just so I can deflect attack if I need to. And I'll shuffle the remaining 2 and put them back in her draw pile. Before we give it a shot with the boulder, I'm going to have the Acolyte play Intercession. That's a Faith card. One hero within range gains +1 D10 to non-combat actions and Courage tests. So that'll be another card that'll help us out. And just so you can see, I moved the camera a little bit. Our Acolyte here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely within range. I don't think line of sight matters for a spell like this. I think that matters for an attack. Yeah, the rulebook says line of sight, that the attacking, it has attacking in quotes. This is not an attack, this is just a spell on one of my fellow adventurers. We'll try and make this a little bit more effective by playing Hand of the Father from the Acolyte. It's going to restore 3 vitality to a hero within range, and this affects the number of additional heroes equal to my faith, which right now is 4, so everyone will be affected and regain 3 vitality. Also, each hero, that's everybody on the tile at this time, gains an additional D10 to all rolls, another D10 to help move this boulder. This is going to cause the Acolyte to gain 4 threat. He was already at 0, so not that big a deal. And Hand of the Father raises the AP by 2. Our soldier will use one of her movement points to do a non-combat action to try and move this boulder into the hole. And that's her second movement point. She still has 1 left thanks to the Mantle of Fate. She gets her 1 base die. She gets 2 additional D10 thanks to the easy way. 1 more thanks to Intercession. And another one thanks to Hand of the Father. Remember, this is a big, heavy boulder, so she's going to need an 8 or greater on 2 of these die to be successful in pushing that boulder into the hole. And we have 2 8s. Nice. She's able to move that boulder or just get it rolling so it falls into the hole, and that will make this entrance to what appears to be a temple of some sort much safer for people to enter and exit. The boulder fell into the hole, but would the boulder stay there as far as blocking line of sight, or would it sink down into the hole and not be a problem anymore? Maybe down in the hole it's no taller than this bench. So my opinion thematically would be that the boulder is no longer there blocking line of sight, that it's sunk down into the hole. I can't use the Acolyte's sprint card because I use Hand of the Father And that means I cannot move because stationary movement is the only type allowed with that spell. I will have the apprentice move 3 using all of her movement points and cast the Mountain Crumbles, which she can do with regular movement. And she is going to target the tailless in front of her and the one behind them, causing the darkest meter to go up 1. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I appear to have an angry crow outside that's not happy with me. So if you hear that in the background, I'm sorry about that. She will cast the Mountain Crumbles. She did regular movement, so on that card we get an additional fate die. She's using her focus, the Demon's Bane, which will give her 2 and 4. The Ring of Neria gives her 1 fate. And, oh, almost forgot, the Hand of the Father gives us another D10. We're attacking the tailless, so we would need a 4. Well, she got an 8 and a 4, so we're okay there. She also made her fate recipe with the 2 arcane symbols, but we didn't clear any ongoings this time. Rocks come flying at these 2 tailless, crushing them. Taking out 2 tailless will raise her threat to 3. Everyone has performed an action, and I don't have any non-action cards that are going to give me more movement points, so I'm going to stop there. We're almost done with this tile. I want to leave that 1 tailless out there. Otherwise, these treasure chests would all just turn into 1 gold. And we'll go into the hero deck phase. Lower the soldier's threat by 3. The acolyte by 2. And the apprentice by 3. The apprentice didn't keep a card. She has Chaotic Overflow, Arcane Lance, Arcane Sigil, Glacier's Grip, and Attack. The acolyte kept a sprint card and received Consuming Fire, Guardian Angel, Last Rites, and Angelic Word. The soldier kept a sprint card and received Battle Rage, Harvest of Bones, Blade Dance, and Battle Roar. And I believe I forgot to raise the darkness meter during my last hero deck phase. And it should have gone up 1 at that time because there was 1 enemy type out there. And then it's going to go up 1 more for this time, activating the darkness. If that is incorrect, it doesn't work to my advantage that the darkness activates. So if I'm wrong and I'm activating it when I shouldn't, that's okay. If heroes are adjacent to the lair, then the lair is healed in vitality equal to number of heroes. No problem there. No threat penalty. We have a minion. And no spawn. What's an ill-fated? After normal spawn, a random card is discarded from each player's hand. Ooh, haven't seen that one before. This is the first time I'm using the deck for Eye of the Foundation. Our 1 lone tailless is going to activate. He's already 3 away from the soldier, so he's just going to take a shot. Being the last of his group out there, does he have the courage? He does. He gets off a shot, but he's by himself. He doesn't have any friends with him, so he's going to need a 7 and misses. Let's go ahead and pick up some treasure. The apprentice is already on 1, so she'll use her 1 movement point to grab that one. And I'll go ahead and do the movement now. So she'll move for a 2nd movement point, and her 3rd one, she'll pick up another chest. So she'll do 2 draws. And this time she gets another bronze. Throw that back in the bag. Another bronze. Wow. Not doing too good on the treasure pickups this time. And receive, a vitality potion. $2 gold. I want to generate some AP here so I'm not loitering. I'll have the acolyte cast sprint, and that'll give him 3 additional movement points, give him 5. He's 6 away from here, but he's only 5 away from here. He can't pick it up this time, but he'll be ready for the next one. Sprint causes the darkness to go up 1, and I will do the same with the soldier and use sprint to gain 3 additional movement points. So she has a total of 6 then. It only takes her 4 to get there and 1 more to pick up that treasure. Oh, she does. She got one of the silver, so she can draw a green card. And Bracers of Will. Attack, +1 fate die, +1 range on focus and relic attacks. Well, that sounds like it would be important for one of our casters. The soldier's sprint, raise the AP by 1. I'm going to stop there and go into the hero deck phase because we have 1 treasure left and I don't want it to turn into just 1 gold. I want the acolyte to be able to pick it up. The soldier's threat is down to 0. The same with the acolyte. The apprentice didn't have any cards to clear and had no threat. She chose to keep her attack card to take care of that tailless. We have Winter's Bite, Arcane Lance, Illuminate, and the Fingers of Aya. The other 2 chose to keep no cards. And we have Last Rites, Sprint, Smite, Double Smite, and Blood of an Overcomer. And for the soldier, Sprint, Hustle, I'll take that, Riding the Edge, and Harvest of Bones. The refresh phase will cause the darkness to go up 1 because we still have 1 monster type out there. In the refresh phase I could swap out equipment and trade with other players, but no one's adjacent so they can't trade right now. So the Bracers of Will, I'm not going to put them on the soldier because that would take up her boots of speed slot. So she'll just hold on to those until we're done dealing with this tailless here. First we'll have the acolyte spend 1 movement point to retrieve that treasure. Here, oh, a bronze. All 6 treasures were picked up, but we only managed to get 1 green out of all of those. And we have another vitality potion. Finally, we will have the apprentice move into position so she can attack that tailless with her attack card and has a range of 3 because that's the range of her enchanted twig and this uses a weapon. So we'll move 1 and she's already within range by just moving 1. She raises her enchanted twig to fire off a shot at the tailless. Enchanted twig will give her an additional d10. The Ring of Neria will give us another fate die. Not much else going on with this plain old attack card because she can't use her focus here because this needs a weapon. She does need a 4 to hit that tailless. And she was successful. The attack did generate 1 AP. The magical energy shot out of the wand and took out the tailless, raising the apprentice's threat to 1. And with that, we have cleared this tile. We took care of the boulder that had that big gaping hole in front of the entrance to this temple. Now our characters can move to the north through this opening to our next tile and see who else needs our help.